I, 30 female, and my ex-husband, 31 male, divorced 5 years ago. During our divorce, we owned an old single-wide mobile home on a large piece of land zoned for a trailer park. He wanted the new truck and our savings. I wanted the old trailer and the land. My ex and I have 2 girls, pre-tweens. Since my divorce, I slowly started buying old single-wides and restoring them, turning it into a business. I love it. My girls go to their dad's and affair partner's apartment every other weekend. I started noticing their clothes, electronics, and toys weren't coming home. At first, I thought their dad was keeping a few outfits there for them. However, my older one got upset when she was packing. I asked her what was wrong. She told me her dad takes her clothes and sells them online, and that she doesn't want to take her favorite shirt over there. I immediately called my ex. I asked him to return our daughter's clothes. Not wanting to throw my daughter under the bus, I blamed it on them not having enough for school. He played dumb. He said he got rid of the clothes that were too small. I pointed out that the jeans our younger one had were brand new. He then said that it was only fair that he got some cash because he owned the trailer and land. I wouldn't be doing this good if it weren't for him. I was angry. I took my daughters down to the dollar store and bought cheap shirts. I went to a thrift store and bought cheap shorts. We had a girls' tie-dye night. Hot pink everything. Each made 5 shirts and 5 bottoms. I let our girls design and decorate them. My girls loved it. The following week, X sends the girls home. I could tell he was mad, but he didn't say anything. The clothes were not returned. No fear, I knew this would be an issue. We made extras. When the girls went back, they were wearing tie-dye. They were with their dad for an hour before he called and demanded different clothes. I kindly told him that our daughters loved those clothes. They really loved tie-dye. X got even angrier and said his parents had a major family party and the girls couldn't wear pink tie-dye. I told him he should buy her the clothes if he didn't want to wear them. He called me an idiot for being petty. So, am I? Not the idiot. This is what I can't get my brain past. Literally stealing from his children? What in the world is wrong with that adult man? OP, as much as my petty little heart loves the way you creatively dealt with it while making it fun for your girls, you need to lawyer up and document every last piece that doesn't come back to you. That idiot has another thing coming if he thinks he can steal from you and his own children like a freeloader. My son's dad and his affair partner tried this when he was young. He wasn't selling them, he was just keeping getting new clothing and returning him in old, dirty, outgrown stuff his affair partner's kids used to wear and giving his son's stuff back to his affair partner's kid. I told him that wouldn't fly. What left this house comes back to this house with our son. His affair partner retaliated by dumping grape soda into my son's overnight bag, so I took him to court. The judge ordered he had to keep clothing and toys at his house, and what our son arrived with was what he returned with, and it had to be clean, unless the visit was less than a day trip. Anything missing or damaged, he had to reimburse me for. Exactly. OP, you need to take this man to court. He's stealing from his children and doesn't care that it's causing them clear and understandable distress. What kind of parent sells their children's clothes off their backs because it was only fair that they got some cash? I'm worried that it could be for some adult substances. Either way, it might be worth talking to a lawyer about getting full custody. My dad stole my birthday money on my 8th birthday. All my friends came and each donated a little bit, and I put it in a money tin. When it was gone the next day, he denied it. Found out he spent it on gambling. So cruel. OP, keep a record of what goes over there and back. Then you can change the child support to show he's taking it back. Mighty bold of you to think that this man pays child support. If he's stealing clothes from his daughters to sell, I highly doubt he's paying child support. OP, if you can, please take him to court and give your kids the option of not visiting him as soon as you're legally able. My best friend, Anne, is getting married soon. She announced her engagement a year ago. When she first announced it, I was in the procedure of trying to lose weight. I was around 93 kilograms when she last saw me. Now I'm 61. We no longer live in the same town because I moved 6 months before she announced her engagement. So anyways, she asked me to be her bridesmaid not too long ago, and I accepted. Fast forward to my trip home. Everything goes to the dogs. When Anne saw me, she didn't seem too happy. Something was off as she barely even hugged me. She didn't say anything then, so I assumed I was reading into it. Later that day, when we were getting lunch at a restaurant, she noticed I only got brown rice and a salad, and she commented on how I'd changed so much. I only laughed and told her that I was on a diet until I lost some more weight. This led to a rant from her about how she feels like the fat one of the two. We've been friends since high school, and she's had this thing where she'd treat me like I was a guy. It's weird to explain, but to put it simply, I'm 5'7" and she's barely 5 feet tall. Because of this height difference, I've always looked heavy next to her, and she took pleasure in that. She used to wear my clothes, commenting on how my t-shirt was a one-piece on her and how my hands were bigger than hers. And some days, she'd say that I looked like her mother because of how tall and fat I was. This always made me feel less feminine somehow and kind of ugly. However, now that I'd lost weight, I didn't look fat anymore, and she couldn't do any of those cutesy things. Her words, not mine. And that really hurt her. So I attempted to change the topic, but she kept circling back to that and then asked me if I'd lost the weight deliberately for her wedding. I told her I'd been trying to lose weight for a while before that, but her wedding was a good motivator for me. I wanted to look good at my best friend's wedding and feel more confident in a bridesmaid dress. Following that, she flat out accused me of trying to steal her thunder. She said that whenever I'd said I was going to try to lose weight, I'd relapse back to my old habits pretty quick, so she didn't think I was serious. She told me that I was trying to make her look like the ugly best friend. She then told me at one point that she was still prettier and daintier than me, and no matter how thin I got, she'd always be thinner. She added that because of this betrayal, she no longer felt comfortable having me as a bridesmaid, and that I could attend as a guest instead. That stung a nerve, and I promptly left the restaurant and texted her later that night to tell her that I wasn't interested in attending her wedding. As a result, I've been getting messages from her and her mom. They say I've stressed her out, and I'm trying to guilt her by declining the invitation. Am I the idiot? Edit. In case my reasoning wasn't clear, I declined the invitation because I was starting to feel like I was only asked to be the bridesmaid to make her look better. And then she felt threatened and demoted me to a guest. Felt like I overestimated her and our friendship. This is called projection. She was literally only inviting you because she saw you as the ugly best friend to make her look better by comparison. To heck with her. She's an awful, superficial, rude idiot herself. I would tell her mother just what she said and then cut them both out of your life. She's not a friend at all. Not the idiot. Also, kudos on the new slimmer you. Cutesy things? The ugly best friend? The fat one? Steal her thunder? Because you lost weight and feel better? Lost weight deliberately for her wedding? Like it's a personal attack? How does she think everything is about her and about attacking her? This is not a friend. Even more, a best friend. She should at least be happy that you felt better in your own skin. You did not guilt trip her. Your leaving is the direct consequence of her actions. Yeah, time to lose an additional 60 kilograms or whatever by ditching the idiot. She's not your friend. She always had you around just to make herself feel better. You were nothing more than an accessory. You do not need people like this in your life. I, 27 female, am pregnant with my first bio child by my husband Kyle, 29 male, and we're both super excited. I have a stepdaughter, Keelani, a young female child, who's my little best friend, and she truly sees me as her second mother figure, but still calls me by my name, not mom. We have 50-50 custody, with final legal decision-making rights because of harassment and crazy behavior from Keelani's mom, Eliza, 29. I always call Keelani the prettiest girl in the world. That's been our thing for years, but not in a conceited way. She's very nice to others and plays great with other kids. I just always want to boost her confidence. When I found out I was pregnant with a girl, I told Keelani her sister would be the prettiest girl in the world too, just like her, and she loved it. So she started saying it too. She came back from her mom's house the other day and said she's the prettiest girl in the world, and everyone is ugly. Her sister will be ugly too. I asked her why she would say that, and she said because it's true. I said she's not the prettiest girl in the world to everyone, and that every little girl is the prettiest girl in the world to their adults. I told her that she and her sister would be the prettiest girls in the world to me and her dad and mom, but only when she's a kind person. Right now she's being mean, and that's an ugly trait. She cried a little bit but seemed to take it well when her dad and I sat down with her later. The day she returned to her mom's house, I was met with many calls and messages on the parenting app, calling me an evil stepmother for calling Kehlani ugly. I explained to her the context, but she said I was being cruel, and Kehlani's just a child. She's now telling my husband we need to go back to court. He's on my side and thinks we handled it well, but she's freaking out, and I did feel bad when Kehlani started crying. Should I have handled that better? Am I the idiot? Edit. I started calling her the prettiest girl because she has confidence issues because of her skin color, and her hair isn't super long like some of her classmates. You are the idiot. Why are you saying pretty when it seems like you really just mean I love you? She's already begun associating prettiness with love, but now you've told her it was all a metaphor for being nice, but the other adults in her life disagree. How confusing for the poor kid. This could have all been avoided by actually complimenting her on specific qualities or behaviors rather than using pretty as a vague substitute for niceness or love. Kind, strong, smart, persistent, patient, brave, clever, etc. are traits she actually has control over and are not easily confused with superficial things, like pretty, that emphasize the perception of others. You are the idiot, and while you had good intentions, you went about it in the wrong way. Not the idiot. One of the hardest things as a grown-up is checking children when they're inconsiderate, rude, or mean to others. Maybe it could have been done more delicately. It's hard to tell when we didn't overhear the actual conversation. Maybe it's important to talk about how beauty's a part of how you act and not just physical features, as you did. Her bio mom has taken this as an opportunity to take your husband to court. I have a feeling that she would have found another excuse. Her bio mom seemingly got upset that the new baby would be called pretty too, and caused this. I think you handled it like a champ, and so did your husband, who backed you up. You never said to her face that she was ugly. You said she was being mean and that it was an ugly trait, which it is. My son, pre-tween, is insanely picky. He won't eat almost everything. This started when he was around 5. He would come home from kindergarten with untouched lunches except for his yogurt and applesauce. We took him to the pediatrician, who said we needed to consult with a dietitian. While waiting for approval from our insurance, we tried different things to get our son to eat. Eventually, we figured out he would eat stuff like mashed potatoes and soup, anything he doesn't have to chew. So we just started accommodating that. We tried to make balanced meals, mixing soft vegetables into his mashed potatoes. We figured he'd grow out of this, but he never did. Finally, I got sick of making separate meals or eating pureed food every night, so I started bringing my son into the kitchen with me and teaching him to use a blender and other kitchen tools. Now my son makes his food almost every night I cook. My wife still makes separate meals for him. She says I'm an idiot for making him make his own food. I supervise him and help him with whatever he needs. I think he needs to know how to make his own stuff, because there's no way people will accommodate this throughout his life. We've been fighting about it more lately. Am I the idiot? Oh, and we never did figure out why he doesn't like chewing. The dietitian referred us elsewhere, and the insurance wouldn't pay, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Are you kidding me? Is this rage bait? Your son has extreme sensory issues that he can't eat regular food, and you think it doesn't matter why? He should somehow get over what is most likely some sort of neurodiversity? You are the idiot, and have you lost your mind? Do you think it's good parenting to just ignore that your kid only eats pureed food at his age? Food aversions are a thing, often related to other conditions that also call for treatment. There are therapists devoted to exploring these issues and finding solutions. Agree. You are the idiot for treating his food aversions as if it's something he's doing on purpose to be naughty. It sounds like a sensory issue to me, and you just can't brush it under the carpet because chances are that food might not be the only thing he'll struggle with in his life. He needs help and support, and you need to get educated by a professional on how to help your son. Poor you, OP. That's too much for you? It doesn't matter, as long as you can minimize the impact it has on you. If you can't afford medical assessment, do some research. Many nonprofit organizations and parent-led support groups can help you get started for free. So step up and start parenting. I work in finance. I'm sure many people will hate me already, but that's my career. My job is in acquisitions. My team and I were in the process of acquiring a huge investment from a rather important organization. This was especially needed because the global issue slump hit us pretty hard, and my organization had to eliminate people in the process. We got this investment after almost 2 years of what I like to call begging, but it worked. And once everything was checked, I got a nice bonus as a reward. Now, I'm doing pretty well, so the bonus wasn't a lifesaver because my student loans have been paid off and my house will be paid off pretty soon. But a bonus is a bonus, and it felt good to be appreciated for my effort. The story. When I told my girlfriend, who's also on my team, about our bonuses, she was pretty happy but said to me that because she doesn't have any loans or anything, she was going to donate all of it to a charity. My response was to tell her that she was very generous for it, and I was proud of her. She then asked me what I was going to do with mine, and I said I was going to buy a new car. She wasn't pleased about this, and since we got our bonuses, she's been pestering me to donate all or a large part of it to charity. I have no problems with donations, but I wanted to splurge after slogging for years, paying off my home and student loans, so I was adamant about my decision. And well, yesterday I signed off on my new car. My girlfriend has been very angry ever since, and has also gotten her friends and some of mine to get me to sell the car back and donate the money. Am I the idiot? I may be the idiot because I understand that money is important, especially today when poor people don't stand a chance in life. So maybe I should have donated most of it and splurged the rest instead. Not the idiot. No one should ever feel forced or pressured into donating to a charity. It should be up to you what you do with your money. She can do whatever she wants with her money. She can't control what you do with yours. I'm seeing a red flag with her getting her friends to pressure you. Bro, it's your money you worked hard for. If you have some money left, then donate it. I don't understand why she's getting mad at you for splurging on yourself when you spent the whole pandemic high heat, paying off loans, and focusing on staying at your job. If anything, don't let her or your friends in the car. Honestly, the fact that she's angry with you about this and harnessing not only her friends but yours to harass you about this makes me concerned she's not simply short-sighted and immature, but potentially diagnosable narcissistic. The fact that you're expressing self-doubt and guilt in your edit reinforces the concern you're being emotionally abused. Not the idiot, only because nobody has a right to tell you what to do with your money. But I prefer to live in a society where wealthy idiots like you get taxed high enough that it pays for social programs that can prevent poverty, so we don't need charity.